I believe that at some point in the not too distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay because the money we're taking in is so great, it's so enormous that you're not going to have income tax to pay. Whether you get rid of it or just keep it around for fun or have it really low, much lower than it is now, but you won't be paying income tax.
All of the evil in society and around the world is freaking out right now because we have true transparency via X.
A contributor at Turning Point USA has declared that she will no longer be paying taxes because she doesn't like what our government is going to be doing with her tax dollars. And I've always said that politics really is just debate around taxes, how much people should be paying in taxes, yes, but also, more so even, how and where those tax dollars should be spent. So Savannah Hernandez wrote on X, "F it, I'm not paying taxes this year. And when the IRS comes after me, I'll blow that up into a huge national story about how the government will destroy your life over a couple $1,000s. Meanwhile, the Pentagon just failed their 8th straight audit in a row. Somalis literally come to the US just to defraud us out of billions, and illegals are prioritized for Section 8 housing and welfare programs over Americans. I'm not paying for it anymore." She posted this on December 30th, 2025, but later clarified that by this year, she meant 2026. Others echoed her sentiments. The Hodge twins posted to X prior to Hernandez's post saying, "At this point, there is no reason to pay taxes anymore." Adding the next day, "What are the feds gonna do if we all just stop paying taxes?" That's a great question. Theo Vaughn, the popular right-leaning comedian who had interviewed Trump during his 2024 campaign, also asked, "What are we paying taxes for?" And Graham Allen said, "The whole country should stop paying taxes until the corruption ends. Hit them where it hurts. Demand accountability by taking away their money." And just days after this all took place on social media, Trump bombed Venezuela and kidnapped its leader, something that MAGA is also very upset about. And it's just another endless, mindless war that no one voted for. The right never wanted more foreign intervention. The left never wanted to fund regime change in another country. No one voted for this. Not even Congress voted for this, actually. And I don't blame these people on the right for being upset because it feels like for once, finally, they're mad at the people they should be mad at. I mean, yes, they're still talking about, they're taking shots at their ethnic group du jour. I guess it's the Somalis now. And also they're mad at illegals in general still, but at least they're starting to look further up the chain this time. And honestly, I kind of like where their heads are at in terms of boycotting paying taxes. I don't know how successful any of it will be, but it's fun to see this evolution. And frankly, any tax-paying American should be upset right now, and not upset, infuriated. We pay so much in taxes, the billionaires pay next to nothing, and our lives are getting demonstrably, tangibly worse, not better. I've mentioned this before, but one of my best friends just opened a coffee shop last year, and the amount of money that he has to pay in taxes on a quarterly basis as a brand new small business is almost inconceivable. It's a laughable amount of money. It's so much money that you have to assume that the government just wants these small businesses to fail and give up. We should all just shut up and surrender to the corporations and their economies of massive scale. MAGA has long been fracturing even before Donald America First MAGA Trump decided to invade another country. He has given up on his quest for a Nobel Peace Prize, and he's seemingly given up on trying to make this country great, whatever that ever meant for him, because he's just committed even more of our tax dollars to fund an international conflict, one that he largely made up himself for the foreseeable future. And yes, I know some Venezuelans are happy that the US took out Maduro. They say that he was so terrible that the US just had to do something about it. I'm not saying Maduro wasn't terrible. I am saying that it wasn't our problem to fix with our money and our military. I'm also saying that the US never does anything, including regime change, without there being something in it for us. And we know that Trump isn't actually mad about all of the fentanyl coming into our country from Venezuela because that was never a real problem. He made that up. He said that Venezuela has our oil. He says it's our oil in their land. He says that they quote unquote stole it by force. That is an insane thing to say, and it's untrue. Venezuela nationalized its oil industry in the 1970s. Prior to that, foreign oil companies had concessions that allowed them to pump, extract, and sell Venezuelan oil while paying royalties to the Venezuelan government. These foreign companies didn't own Venezuelan oil, though. When those concessions were revoked, Venezuela agreed to compensate these American oil companies for their losses in light of their new government policy. But 30 years later, when Hugo Chavez decided to exert further control over its remaining foreign-owned assets, Venezuela was supposed to pay over $8 billion to ConocoPhillips. Venezuela never paid, and that is now how Trump is saying that Venezuela stole our oil that is in their land by force. And now he's floating the idea of invading Greenland. He's thinking about canceling our midterm elections. We already went into Venezuela without any kind of public buy-in and certainly without approval from Congress, 5 years after January 6th, and we're still dealing with this insanity, with this man who is clearly deranged and sickly, who people still, for some reason, are loyal to. And, we know the reasons that they're loyal to him. We know why people within this administration are still loyal to Donald Trump. We know all about the different geopolitical and economic variables that went into this U.S. invasion of Venezuela and the pending invasion or invasions that we are apparently looking forward to now. We know that all of this is bigger than Marco Rubio and Stephen Miller and Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a billionaire who convinced everyday Americans that he would look out for them. The one somewhat decent tenet of his entire platform was his America First stance. But the reason why so many of us oppose that stance on the left is because we knew that what he meant when he said that was simply that he would be cutting off U.S. aid to countries and to people that depend on it. We knew that people would die because of this so-called America First stance, but his supporters believed that he meant no more foreign intervention, no more sending our tax dollars and our sons and daughters to other countries while they're needed all right here at home. They trusted him for reasons that I can't even imagine to look out for the American people and institutions. He hasn't done any of that. First of all, we were right. He did cut off aid to millions of vulnerable people around the world in the name of America First. And that was the extent of his recognition and execution of that plan. He continued to send money and weapons to Israel. He bailed out Argentina. He threatened to invade and annex countries like Greenland and Canada. And then he made up a fake drug crisis, provided no evidence to back up his claims, and then bombed and invaded a whole-ass country while his lackeys went on every news channel parroting fascistic and imperialistic and colonistic talking points. Oh, and now he's back to threatening Greenland and also Colombia, because why not? The U.S. has no reasonable check on its power and authority. Stephen Miller is celebrating the fact that imperialism has always been done this way, so now we just get to do more imperialism. It's our turn, and people should just let us take over the entire Western Hemisphere. It's ours, isn't it? Isn't that what Marco Rubio said? Also, isn't it funny that anything Marco Rubio has to say is relevant these days? Sure, it's all very funny. And you know what? That's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.